Good afternoon. A new update from the island, bit windy today, Island of Rhodes. My name is Sarah Hadjipavli, and I am a wedding celebrant living in Greece, living on the Island of Rhodes. And it's a funny old summer so far. This is one of my updates to give you an idea of what is going on the Island of Rhodes now. And we're all very positive. Things are moving in the right direction. We're out, obviously, keeping the social distancing. Life goes on. Shops are open. Bars and restaurants are now open inside and outside. And year-round hotels have opened too. And from mid-June, we're expecting to have international travel back into Athens directly, not to the islands. And sometime early July, we're expecting some travel to start to come to the Island of Rhodes from various nations. All these things are being updated on a very regular basis. We don't really know when we're going to have tourism back, but businesses are getting started. Restaurants and shops and hotels, various ones are starting to put into place the right measures to make sure that people are safe when they travel to Greece. And so we're all going in the right direction. So no matter where you are in the world and at what stage the country is, it's all going to be okay in the end. We've just got to be patient, and we've got to wait until the time is right for travel to come back from various countries back to Greece. But it doesn't mean that you can't still keep making plans. You can keep planning. I am a wedding celebrant living in Greece, and that's what I do. And I'm still talking to couples about their plans for their weddings for next year, perhaps even for later on this year. You never know your luck. With a celebrant, you can obviously have a last-minute ceremony because there is no paperwork required on the day. You probably know, if you know what a celebrant is, a celebrant in Europe cannot actually perform a legal marriage. So the ceremonies we create in Greece are described as symbolic ceremonies, but they don't feel symbolic in any way. It's a wedding ceremony to celebrate the official marriage, which you can do in your registry office either before or after travel. It doesn't matter. So if you get the chance and the flights open up and you're thinking of doing something last minute, maybe just the two of you fancy hopping on a flight and having a commitment ceremony at the water's edge, then you could consider a celebrant-led option, a celebrant-led ceremony in Greece. The temperatures are great. Obviously, this time of year on the Island of Rhodes, it would be virtually full season. Obviously, it's very, very strange. Yesterday, I went all around the island. I went down to Lindos. If any of you watch any of my other videos, Lindos village is perhaps one of the most visited villages in the country. And yesterday, it was just the locals sorting out their businesses, not a tourist to be seen, of course. So it's almost like stepping back in time, back to when all the villages and everything in Greece were just as they are, villages, and there were no visitors. So it's a very, I suppose, living on the island, as I do, we feel very lucky to live in a place like this. It's an absolutely beautiful country to live in. But of course, the situation has been concerning, and it's not great for anybody who works with tourism. But we're happy to keep waiting until the time is right, until you get the chance to travel back to Greece and have your ceremony your way. There are two ways of having a wedding abroad in Europe. You can go the civil route. You can provide all the legal paperwork on the day. You can, well, before the day, have it translated, and in Greek that's apostilled, and collect it all together and hand it on to your wedding planner, and you can have a legal ceremony at authorized venues, and it will be officiated by the registrar, and it will be in Greek, and it will be normally translated by your wedding planner. It's a simple generic script, and there is nothing wrong with that. But there is another way. And especially in these uncertain times, if it's a time when you're not sure about gathering all the paperwork together in the right time limit, or you've been doing that and you're worried about that, you can consider a celebrant-led option. There we do exist. We exist in Greece. look out for us and find us, because our ceremonies are not standard nor generic. We get to know a little about you. We get to know your story. We don't just turn up on the day and read off a piece of paper. We learn your story and we come along and we create and perform the ceremony in the style you always dreamed it. And no restrictions with your venues. If you fancy having a beach ceremony, you can use a celebrant. If you want one in your villa at the poolside, you can use a celebrant. And if you just want to stand under an olive tree and say your intimate vows to each other, use a celebrant. That's what you can do, and that's what I'm all about. So just had a great chat with a new couple, and that's got me all buoyed up. So I thought it was the moment. I'm at home. This is the back side of my house. We're very lucky. We look out over the sort of olive groves. I'm upstairs because we have dogs and cats and things, and you can see the top of my house. That's the kind of view out the back from where I live on the Island of Rhodes. Very lucky. We built this house many years ago, and so I'm up here because otherwise the dogs and cats get going. But yes, update from the Island of Rhodes, all positive, looking forward to ceremonies in the future, and it's getting busy for next year. So that's it for today. I see a very nice fellow celebrant on here, Nikki. She's one of the great celebrants in the UK. We are a sparkle of celebrants worldwide. There are a really, really happy bunch of people just waiting out in the wings, whether you be in Europe or anywhere else. You can have a celebrant-led ceremony, and we describe it as your ceremony, your way. And it doesn't matter where you are, but look out for one, because celebrants are going to become trends, especially in the uncertain worlds we live in. So much love. Everybody wants to share the love. Intimate ceremonies, elopement ceremonies, micro weddings, commitment ceremonies, and vow renewals. Why not? So that's it for today. From the Island of Rhodes, from my balcony, a bit windy, hope it's okay sound wise. Yeah, if you catch this video and you want to talk about anything to do with celebrants or what I could do for you, if you come to Greece, anywhere in Greece, I'm based in Rhodes, but I can travel all over the place when the flights are up and going, just send me a quick email and we can have a chat. No obligation, of course. I'm old and wise, been on the rock for many years, so maybe I can be of assistance. So that's it for today. Send me a message if anything is of interest to you. And that's an update for today from Rhodes, my little business, Grecian Ceremonies, Sarah Hadjabavlis. I am a celebrant in Greece. Bye for now.